Where are we heading, Josh?
So, Jason, you're coming to the end of your 2-year tenure as chair of CLIA, and will be.
You don't have to tell me.
And, you had a lot on your plate, including a CEO transition and a lot of things that were happening in the industry. As you reflect on that 2 years, I mean, what's some of the high points as you see it, and things that you've actually enjoyed being part of, or differences that you think that we've made as a community?
Sure. Well, up until like the past couple of weeks, the share price was a big high point. But I think that when you look at it over the past couple of years, watching our industry accelerate, and not just in terms of accelerate in terms of the recovery post the pandemic, but it's also how it's accelerated in its relevancy in travel. Most of us here have spent our collective careers convincing people of what a cruise is, and a lot of people look back to very legacy, leisurely, and in reality, this industry has created for so many different segments these incredible vacation experiences, and now it is very much a key consideration in any vacation planning happening around the world. So to me, that's a massive accomplishment for the industry, that we are really fully relevant in the travel space. The other thing that I think super proud about is how we're all just so focused on the broader stakeholder group. We have an incredible responsibility to improve our footprint on the planet. We take that responsibility very seriously, and we're all collectively finding ways to lessen that impact. We're continuing to collectively invest in the different destinations, making sure there's fair balance in the economics as well as the social impact that is occurring in all these different communities, and also taking on the responsibility on how do we continue to diversify where our ships go to lessen potentially some of the concentration that can occur in some of those locations. So I think we all have just a high sense of responsibility in how we're operating all around the world, and also how we're working, I think, very well as an industry to make that broader impact.
Well, thanks, Jason. And of course, as you step back from one chairmanship, for those who may not know, Jason has assumed a new chairmanship, because apparently you must be chairman at all times of something. So Jason now assumed the title of chairman of Royal Caribbean Group. So I hope you'll all join me in congratulating him for that. So, Jason, when I was on your recent inaugural, I saw a one-on-one discussion with you and Richard Fain, and a lot of the discussion was really more generally about leadership philosophy and how important people are to the success or failure of a large company. And I was wondering if you might share some of your own thoughts about that, leadership in general, and how you integrate those principles into the way that you actually operate your company day to day.
Sure. Well, first, I think in order to do anything well in life, you have to have an incredible team. I think sometimes there's this weird or warped world where people think that everybody works for the leader, and I think in reality, if done well, the leader and the leadership teams are really supporting the organization to fulfill its greatest destiny. And I think we've always, in our DNA, we've always had a very strong culture of dreaming, a culture of innovation, and a responsibility to make sure with all of that we're not just producing art, we're producing also financial returns through that innovation. But that all comes into the fibers of hiring the best athletes, which I think we wake up every day trying to do, make sure those athletes are evolving, becoming great leaders inside the organization, making big impacts, and having them have a high sense of accountability and responsibility, because you can't micromanage. We have over 100,000 people. To think that we are able to do that, and I also, very much realize that even in the good times and the bad times, when you have the right people surrounding you, you end up on the right side of history, and I think that's how we've always been as a company. It's why we have so much respect and admiration for our people, and it's weird, like in this world of like AI and everything, there's always this obsession on we're going to replace all these people and so forth. And if you're in this business, you know that the magical moment is when our guest and our crew connect, and our crew understands what our guests are looking for, and they bring those incredible wows and delights and memories to life. And that's irreplaceable through technology. You can enhance it through technology. And I think we're also very focused on how do we move everybody to do higher purpose activities versus maybe some of the collecting of data and harvesting of data versus how do we make better decisions.
Just if I could talk about maybe the shipboard staffing element of that. Worldwide, and as you all know, I have a lot of experience in the shipping industry overall. There is currently, in shipping overall, a shortfall of 90,000 certified, so we're talking officers, seamen to go to sea right now. And in our industry, we also have competition for the hotel staff, which really, I think, delivers a lot of that experience that you're describing. What sorts of things have you found successful in recruiting the right hotel staff and having them actually be able to deliver that guest experience every single day that you're describing?
Well, first of all, I think as an industry, we've all established incredible culture, guest service, expectations that kind of breed the next generations, and which is why I think we all have incredible loyalty, whether it's on the deck and engine or the hotel side for our people. So there is always a level of competition, but you don't see, I think, a lot of people moving from one line to another. But I think that's because employees want to be treated with great respect and appreciation. They want to be invested in. They want to have career opportunities. So for us, we're growing at about 5% a year. So we're able, we have 1 or 2 ships at least every year coming out. It provides promotional opportunities for them, so they think that they're growing. And they also want to work for purpose-driven companies, and I think they believe in the purpose. I think, I get, the pleasure of visiting our different brands. They all have distinct personalities, and you just see incredible loyalty and appreciation for what those brands are and what they represent to the guest, and as well as to the organization. And I think we have very low attrition in our brands. It's even lower than it is shoreside. And so I think it comes down to culture, and it comes down to respect. And I think most of all is trust. They trust us, our guests trust us, and as long as you have trust, you typically win that game.
So speaking of trust, I often talk about safety. I can't help it. I've been in the marine safety business for the better part of my entire career. We don't get extra credit for that. In fact, we don't talk about it that much publicly because we don't want to remind people of the things we're doing in the back of the house. But I think certainly you fully appreciate how important safety and safety culture is. Could you say a few words about how you actually get the right safety culture to be in place, fine-tuned, and evolving over time within your organization?
Yeah. Well, I think first, there is nothing more important inside of our company. If you were in the walls, there is zero compromise on the safety and security of our guests, the safety and security of our crew, and the safety and security of our assets. It's an incredible responsibility when, for us, we have on average about 180,000 people with us at any given time. We are responsible for their safety, and we've always had this general philosophy of, or I would say more, it's a statement, is that there's no such thing as perfect safety, but there is such thing as dedication to perfect safety. I think for us, if you feel that people don't feel responsible and accountable for that, then Royal Caribbean Group is not the place for you to work. And so it's instilled in everything that we do. But there are lots of times and lots of conversations where we could have done it a different way. We look at, I think a great example for us was lifeguards. It's not that we were not watching the pools and so forth, but we noticed that our guests were no longer necessarily primarily paying attention to what was in the pool. They were watching their phones, they were doing other things, and for us, we watched, and this is many, many years ago, safety issues, and so we said that we needed to make sure that we had lifeguards at our pools. And, that cost us probably $20 million a year. And if you were sitting in that room, it was without a blink. That is something that we needed to do. And it was a time when we weren't making a tremendous amount of money.
We have some incredible shipbuilding talent and design talent in our industry, but I have to say, every time I walk through any cruise ship and see a open promenade, Harry Coulibaura, that was his idea when he was at Silverline years ago. I mean, you do have an exceptional talent in him, but not to degrade anyone else. There are a lot of really talented people. But when it comes to ship design, what are the couple of features that you've introduced recently that excite you the most, whether it's back of the house or front of the house?
I was just hoping you were going to say we're the best. I mean, but let's just all say that we assume that's what you said. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, there's so many incredible things. I mean, I don't know how many people have been on Icon of the Seas. We have in the middle of the ship. It's called the Pearl, and so people walk in. There's this absolute wow moment where you see this huge kinetic art piece that's many decks high, and they're enamored by that. When you zoom out, you realize that's actually the superstructure that has completely opened up the center of that Royal Promenade, that you see there. And we've now have we had an aqua show on the back of our ship, and now we have this aqua dome that is it's this massive 100+ meter theater that just brings a lot of wow and delight. I think I would, of course, and then we're evolving, things. Laura's about to show a new ship off, and she's got this incredible concept called the Bazaar that I think will bring a whole new level of life connectivity to shore. And our Silver Sea brand, we've elevated with our Nova class, which we think is a transformational thing in the ultra luxury space. So, I mean, at the heart of all of our new building activities, obviously, we're all centered around the guest, what they're looking for. But I think it's our constant willingness to push like the art of the possible. And I think we're willing to invest and spend the money to do so. And I see incredible things on our ships, but I also look at our competitors who have done things in which you just sit there and you say, well, how is that floating on water? And I think that's, that's some of the, that moment when they walk in and you just see that wow and delight is, that's the moment when you feel like you've done it right. And we try to do that every day. And it's the same thing of just making sure we've hired the best athletes in that space, or at least who we consider to be the best athletes, to help us dream and design and then build them. And I think that's just it's not just obviously we're very proud of it, but I think it's a real testament to the industry, because you're just seeing massive evolution in the vacation experience, both on ship and as well as on land.
Well, hopefully my enthusiasm for things as they are today, my optimism for them in the future is self-evident, because if it's not, it's probably time to either change my batteries or change CEOs. So, Jason, what's your take on the future for this industry? What, as a final thought, what would you leave everybody with as your top-line messages for what the future looks like for us?
Well, I'd say a couple things. First off, I think just to frame it, our competitive set, which I think is the vacation world, it's a $2 trillion industry. Our industry is about $85 billion. So it's lots of times we get asked about, look what this, cruise competitor, this cruise competitor. We're not really competing with ourselves. We're trying to take share from this incredible vacation envelope. And that $2 trillion will soon be 2.5, and then it will soon be 3. And we're just trying to keep up with the growth of that, and how do we take advantage of all that. So I think there's incredible opportunity to just take greater share of the travel leisure space. The other piece is that I think we're more and more morphing into we're an experience-driven industry. And we are competing with other experiences. We're competing with concerts and other forms of travel. And so, we need to continue to elevate not just what happens on the ship, but also what happens on land. Our guests expect an end-to-end vacation experience that they walk away with incredible stories and memories, and less so about just the natural city tour.
Well, thanks, Jason. Thank you for your comments today, and it's been a true pleasure to serve as you being my first chairman in this role of what I hope is many over years, because I don't plan to go anywhere. I'm really enjoying the experience and really enjoying being in the forefront of helping you live into those things in any way that I can or my team can. And we will recognize you and gratitude for your service to CLIA at an appropriate time as well. But please accept my thanks on behalf of the entire CLIA community, and particularly my staff, who really appreciates the leadership you've provided. So thank you.
Well, my pleasure. And I just want to add, we can't do any of this without all of you. So thank you so much for your incredible partnership. And I am incredibly confident that this will be a very smooth chair transition to an incredible leader in Josh Weinstein, and I almost sit there and say I just can't wait to see what he'll do. so soon enough. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason.